Please, you need to keep quiet so that you can hear me very well. Okay, from the other class. Okay. So, my name is Edward, and I'm from Green Planet Conservation Initiative. So, what we do basically is that we go around schools to educate students on climate change. How many of you have heard of climate change before? Okay, you know about climate change. Okay, that's very good. So, that means it makes the work easier. So, before I go into discussion, I want to define some key concepts. Are you with me? Okay, I said before I go into the discussion, I want to define some key concepts. Now, we know what is weather, right? Yeah? You can define weather for me. Okay, no. Okay, not a problem. Then because of time, I might not jump into all those questions. Okay, now before I go into the discussion proper, I will define some key concepts. So I will define what weather is, and what climate is, and what climate change is. So that will enable us to flow on the same level. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You can all hear me.
Yes, sir.
You can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to shout more.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. I don't know how it is. Okay. Okay, now what happens is that weather is actually a short time change in the atmosphere. Are you following? And that weather is a short time change in the atmosphere. And another reason say that weather is the atmospheric condition of a place over a specific period of time. I hope you're getting me. Now, such changes in the atmosphere could be in terms of the way the sun shines, the way it rains, the humidity of a place, the precipitation of a place, the atmospheric pressure of a place over a short period of time. Yeah? That's what constitutes a weather condition of a place. Are you with me? I hope you're following. Now, what then is climate? Now, climate is actually a long time change in the weather pattern of a place over a period of time, usually a minimum of 30 years. Are you with me? And United Nations define climate as the average weather pattern of a place over a period of time. Usually still 30 years, minimum of 30 years. That's when you can now say this is the climate of a place. I don't know if you're following. Are you with me? Yes, sir. Okay, now what then is climate change? Since I've been able to define weather and climate, what is now climate change? Climate change is actually a shift in the weather pattern or in temperature of a place. Now, what I mean a shift means that there has been changes from the normal position of the weather pattern or the temperature to an abnormal position. You get me? Are you with me?
Yes.
I said climate change is a long-time shift. It's a long-time shift in weather pattern or in temperature. What that means is that there has been consistent changes in weather pattern over a period of time from the normal way it should be to an abnormal way. It can also be in temperature. Are you with me? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, having defined this now, I want to go proper into our discussion. Now, climate change has been a major issue in our world today. And that is why many nations of the world, many governments of the world, they are talking about climate change. Climate change. For some of you, if you're listening to news, if you follow news very well, you will see that a lot of issues have been coming up concerning climate change. And that's to tell you how important the matter is. Because it has to affect the planet as a whole. It affects us as humans, and it affects the planet as a whole. So governments of the world have been coming together to discuss what do we do. How do we mitigate this climate change? And it has been, scientists have been able to prove that the temperature of the atmosphere has actually increased from what it used to be. It it has increased by 1.1 degrees Celsius, meaning that it is actually higher than what it used to be by 1.1 degrees Celsius, and which is not good for the ecosystem, for the world, that's for the pets as a whole, because it means that once the temperature increases, it tends to destabilize some of the activities on the earth. I follow you. Once there's a rise in temperature, both normal, what it should be, it means that some of the activities in the some of our activities will also be affected. Now, what then causes climate change? Now, one of the things it has been discovered that majority of the things that causes climate change is as a result of human activities. Are you following? Majority of what causes that climate change is as a result of human activities. Though there can be natural causes. The natural causes can be as a result of the activities of the sun, the way the sun hits the earth. It can also be as a result of volcanic eruption. These are natural ones that are not controlled by human beings. The other aspects are majorly as a result of human activities. So now, what are these human activities that causes climate change? One of the things that causes climate change is the burning of coal. Coal. How many of you know what coal is? Okay, it's a mineral resource that is mined from the earth. Then another thing again is oil and gas. Oil and gas. You must have been hearing of oil and gas. You know crude oil very well. Let's use a simple thing. You know crude oil very well, right? From crude oil, you get oil, you get gas. Do you understand? Now, the burning of this crude oil, or the burning of the product of crude oil, actually releases poisonous gases into the atmosphere. Now, we call them fossil fuel. These sources of energy, we call them fossil fuel. That's the burning of coal and oil and natural gas. We call them fossil fuels. You understand? The burning of this fossil fuel has actually caused the majority of the climate change that we have. Because when you burn some of these crude oil, like with dry cars around, through a process of combustion, it releases gas into the atmosphere. And those gases are actually dangerous to the climate. You understand? Now, one of the major gases that causes climate change is carbon dioxide. We all know carbon dioxide, right? Right? So, one of the major gases that causes climate change is carbon dioxide. Then we have methane. We have nitrous oxide. We also have fluorinated gases. These are things that causes climate change, and we call them greenhouse gases. Now you might ask, what is greenhouse gases? Now greenhouse gases are those gases that tend to trap the heat from the sun from escaping from the earth. Are you with me? They tend to form a kind of blanket over the earth. So what it means is that the heat from the sun can come in, but it cannot escape. You understand? Now what does it do? Now it tends to create it tends to make the atmosphere warmer than it should be, and now causes what we call global warming. How many of you have heard of global warming? Now it now warms the atmosphere more than necessary because of the release of those gases, because they tend to form something like a blanket over the atmosphere. So it will not allow those gases to it will not allow the heat from the sun to escape. So it tends to cage the gas. So those are the things we call greenhouse gases. And one of the major sources is carbon dioxide. Are you with me? And I also mentioned methane. You understand? Now methane also can be some of the gases we get from refining of crude, natural gases and all that. It can also be gotten from farming of livestock, farming of rice. You can also get it from there. So these are the things that once they are released into the atmosphere, they tend to obstruct the climate and causes the climate change. Are you with me? I hope you're listening. Okay, at the end I'll ask you a question. If you're not listening. So now, what have I experienced so far? There are also what this climate change, the effect of this climate change on humans. There are things that this climate change also causes on humans. Now, one of the things that it causes that it also causes what we call drought, scarcity of water in some regions. In some region it causes drought, and in some region also it causes flood. Are you with me? Now in Nigeria we've been experiencing flood of lately. You see a lot of places being flooded with water. This is as a result of climate change. There's a rise also, it causes rise in sea level. It causes rise in sea level, and as a result of that, the water tends to overflow through the land. And when it overflows through the land, it now causes flooding. Now it also causes faster spread of diseases. When the climate, when the temperature is hotter, it tends to make diseases to spread faster. Are you with me? When the temperature is hotter, it tends to make diseases to spread faster. So it can also cause displacement. You know, when there's flooding, people tend to move away from their places where they live, right? They move away from the places where they live. So as a result of that, it displaces people from where they live. It also causes scarcity of food. Most times, if you listen very well, anytime there are flooding, or anytime we have flooding, they say there will be scarcity of food that year. So that's a result of what this climate change causes. It also causes, like I said, it causes rise in sea level. So what it means is that, you know, you have some aquatic animals, right? In the sea, you know there are aquatic animals, right? So when the temperature hits the sea, it tends to become warmer than it should be. There are some of those aquatic animals might not be able to live there. Then they also melt in the polar. There's a place where we call the polar region, where it's made up of ice. Now, there's a way God created it. That place is supposed to maintain ice at every point in time. But as a result of climate change, those ice are now melting. Are you with me? Those ice are now melting. So there's a whole lot that climate change is possible. And that is why almost every part of the world, they've now made it a duty that every government, all organizations should join forces in order to mitigate, in order to fight this climate change. And as a result of this, there's something that they usually gather. Every year, there's an annual event that happens, organized by United Nations. And they can choose any country where they organize it. Last year, it was United Arab Emirates, where they organized, we call it a Conference of the Parties. And that of last year, was 28. Where almost all the whole nations gather to discuss issue on climate change, what needs to be done in order to mitigate that effect. And one of the things that they came up with is that one of the ways to resolve this climate change is to move away from use of fossil fuel to renewable energy. How many of you know what renewable energy is? Huh? How many of you know what renewable energy is? Okay, renewable energies are energies that are gotten from natural sources, just like the sun, the wind, the water. You understand? Those are called renewable energies, and they're actually clean type of energy. We call them clean type of energies because those energies don't release poisonous gases to humans. Then they're also cheap. When they say it's cheap, it means that you don't need money to buy the sun. You understand? You don't need money to buy the sun, and they're also sustainable. So all renewable energies are cheap, sustainable, and they are very clean. So now, they also advocated that most of the companies that release this fossil fuel should find a way to reduce the use of fossil fuel. Like if you go to most of our industries, they burn diesel, during the operation. And some manufacturing companies also, they use some chemicals that also, once they are petrochemicals, and once they are released, it also causes danger in the atmosphere. I follow you. So now, what we as an organization, what do we do basically? We're trying to encourage planting of trees. How many of you know what tree does? Okay, now let me further explain. Tree trees, flowers, and some of these plants, they actually take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen through a process known as photosynthesis, right? So what then we encourage the use of the planting of trees. When you plant trees and plants and flowers like that, they tend to absorb some of this carbon in the atmosphere that causes this climate change. They absorb it and also release oxygen. So we give it also demonstrate. Give an example of a tree. I know you see trees, right? So once you have trees like this planted, they absorb those carbon dioxide, then release the oxygen to we humans. So we also encourage most times when we go to schools, we encourage schools that have space. We encourage them to plant trees and flowers, because it tends to help the atmosphere, to help the planet as a whole. So basically, what we do now is that we sometimes, even some of these schools, we tend to also sponsor them to plant the trees. You understand, the flowers and the trees. So now, with this, it will be able to mitigate some of the causes of that climate change. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It will be able to mitigate some of the causes of this climate change and then balance the atmosphere. You understand? So most times, we will encourage people as a student, when you go to your homes, if you have large compounds, you can encourage your parents to plant fruit trees. Not any kind of, they can plant fruit trees. It's also a way of mitigating climate change. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Are you following? So, okay, you're not hearing me? Okay, did you hear what I said? I said we encourage students, when you go back home, if you have large space, large compound, you can ask your parents to plant fruit trees. It also tends to mitigate the effect of climate change. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, do you understand what I've explained so far? Huh? Yes, you don't really understand what I've explained so far?
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to ask you a question. What is climate? What is weather? Weather. Huh? Okay. Very good. But anybody that answers my question, I will give you the answer. Now, what is climate? What is climate? Okay. Now,